Call the meeting to order. Stand for the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Commissioner Gibbons will not be with us tonight. I think Commissioner Hicks running a little late. Okay. You can get the motion to accept the minutes of January 19th.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. The motion to accept the financial report and payment of the bills.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
The motion carried. Okay. Okay. Budget amendments.
Yes, I have two tonight. First is budget amendment number 2011-009. It's within the Department of Administration to transfer $110 from salary account into training and education account for the purpose of purchasing a specific management style training course.
Okay, I have a motion to accept budget amendment 2011-009.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in-
I just want to say,
Okay.
if you could explain, because when I first read the black belt training on the agenda, it sounds a little unusual, so if you could explain what it is to the people out here, Lewis.
So the Six Sigma program that the mayor asked me to look into is a very complex statistical system for improving performance, but within the hierarchy of, as I said in there, the gold boulders, there's a competency levels that start at the green belt and the black belt and the master black belt and the champion and the professional leadership. Those are competency levels within that program, and it just used that terminology that's equivalent to like martial arts. That's all it is. Looks odd, but this is how it's done.
Yeah, I looked it up online. There's several versions with several writers.
Oh yeah. So
It's good. It's very good. Very good training. Okay, a motion and all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Second budget amendment is 2011-010. Is to recognize $1,479 of a DNR program open space grant for the purpose of a mesh screen for Marina Park tennis court.
Okay. A motion to accept budget amendment 2011-010.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, Reverend Trent, planning.
Evening. Sorry, I missed you guys last month. I was on a little bit under the weather. It's been going through everybody. It's really something. Anyway, well, November we had a great month. nothing out of the unusual. December was a good month, and I'd like to talk about a couple things that are worth mentioning. I'd like to talk to you about the total nitrogen for the year from the facility. We did, the plant did discharge 13,809 pounds of total nitrogen. And of course the permit is limit is 37,000. So we did very well again this year. We didn't do quite as good as we did in 2009. And it's probably due to problems that we've had with the nitrate recycle pump, which we are in the process of making some improvements with that, with the rags. I think I may have told you about that last time. But still, discharging 13,800 is very outstanding. When you think the permit's 37,000, so. Also the phosphorus, we did real well. We discharged 419 pounds for the year, and the permit limit is 2,787 pounds. So we're just kicking butt with the nitrogen and phosphorus. And of course, they're the two not the main requirements, but they're pretty important, the nutrient side of the discharge permit. On the up note, we received all the replacement parts for the clarifier skimmer assembly. And I think Liz has been talking with the engineer and the contractor. It looks like they're going to come in, I guess, in March or maybe April to install the parts. So that's good. We got all the parts ready to go. We had an inspection for the wastewater plant recently, and it went real well. Randy Denny was there, and he put us a thorough inspection, and everything came out good, real good. A couple things that we need to do is that I need to, the town apparently received the general discharge permit back in 2007, and one of the requirements for that general discharge permit is a stormwater control plan for the wastewater treatment plant, and I'm not sure if that's been completed yet, so if I can't put my hands on it, that's something that we'll have to do as one of the requirements of that general discharge permit. So I just got that a copy of that permit recently from MDE, so we'll work on that. That's pretty much it at the wastewater plant. On the water side, you know, of course, we set the flow from artesian to 250,000 gallons a day. I let you know that that's been done. We did do that. We have a little problems getting it right on, but we're tweaking it. We should be pretty close. And well number 3, it's interesting that the flow meter went on. We repaired it, so it's back online now at well number 3. And they're the big things. I guess one other thing that's worth mentioning is that at Washington Woods Booster Station, it had a what I call a hydropneumatic tank system up there, and when I came on board, and I've been with you now for 3 years, it was not online, and I don't know why it wasn't online. And when I talked to Steve about it, I said, well, when was when he didn't remember when it was taken offline. So it's been offline for many years. I guess that's my point. But anyway, we did put it online recently. So I'm hoping that it sort of helps, you know, soften the pressure
issues. Yeah.
issues up there. It should cushion. You know, when those pumps shut off, you get this water hammer. If they come on or shut off, you get what they call water hammer. And when they're running, the pressure's constant, sort of. But when it shuts off, you get the surging in the lines. And I know they've had a couple water main breaks up there, and that could be part of it. I'm not certain that it is, because like I say, this I know that they broke where they had to put repair clamps. So, but still, that system up there operates at a pretty high pressure. The discharge pressure at the pumping station operates at about 95 psi. So, you know, that's at the pumps themselves. Now you get up at the top of the hill, you don't have that. But the thing that what I'm concerned about is that water hammer, when that pump shuts off and that water comes back at the pump and back out, you know, and that, because then you can get a surge, a pretty high surge.
Well, that pump's not sufficient enough to pump that water clear all the way up the hill to get the people the pressure up there?
No, I don't want to say that. Well, I talked to some of the people that live up on the top of the hill about a month ago, and well, actually it was pretty right after a couple of those breaks occurred, and I talked to a couple of people, and one lady, I don't remember her name off the top of my head. She complained to me that their pressure was not constant, and it sometimes, even when she had pressure, it was on the low side. So you know, there could be a number of reasons for that. And so I talked with her, and one of the things that I wanted the town to do was go up there and take her meter and take the screen out of her meter and clean it. Because, you know, every meter has a screen in it. And if it gets little sand or pebbles or anything like that in around this screen, of course, it's going to restrict the flow coming into the house. And that can do it. Okay, so I wanted the town to clean it. I believe they did do that. And then the other thing is that, you know, we have more people on that system now because you have there's an additional housing that's hooked into that system. So one of the things that we did at the pumping station is there's a small pump and there's two larger pumps. And and the way it's been operating since I've got here and probably years past is the small pump was in lead position. So we took that all out of the lead position, put a large pump in lead position now, and put the small pump in the lag 1 position. Okay, so this larger pump pumps much more water out into the distribution system, is now running in the lead position. And I think that's going to make all the difference for the community. I haven't got any more complaints. And then, of course, we put the pneumatic tank online. So when you get a pump shutting off or another pump coming on, you're going to get a gradual pressure drop, not all or nothing, is what I think they were getting.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I think it's going to be better up there, better at Washington Woods for the community.
I know we've had some complaints, and that's great that you
So you knew that?
So
I didn't
that's
know
good.
you had gotten the complaints.
So, the people have mentioned that the pressure was low, so, but that's sounds like you got it fixed, so that's
I'm
great.
hoping. Cool.
Good. Okay,
That's it.
very good.
Okay.
Anybody have other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we were going to have a public hearing, but Dwight,
Yes, sir. As you know, we were scheduled to have a public hearing for annexation of 189 Bell Hill Road, owned by Bell Hill LLC, up near the intersection of 279 and Bell Hill Road. The complication that came up in the last week or so is we have been proceeding all along under the assumption that Artesian would provide water and the town would provide sewer treatment services to this parcel. Because the town has a sewer line right out in front of the property, basically, and Artesian doesn't have anything anywhere remotely near there with regard to sewer. Artesian, sometime within the last week to 2 weeks, has taken a position, as you may recall, when we were all sitting down here and the town was meeting with Artesian. They mentioned for the first time that they felt they had a exclusive franchise for both water and sewer service on everything what I would consider northwest of 279 and 95. And then I've had some conversations with Artesian representatives, some conversations with the county commissioners, and certainly have been communicating with Gene. And to this point in time, we have not succeeded in resolving that situation. I can tell you my client is not comfortable with proceeding with having the property annexed under a plan where Artesian is going to provide both the water and the sewer, because we have at this point no confidence as to when Artesian will ever get sewer service to that area of the county. What we would request, if possible, is that you would continue this hearing until maybe like March 2nd, and if we had to throw in another ad in the paper, we could. And that my clients will go meet with Artesian, meet with you all, meet with county representatives, maybe even try to schedule a meeting with the county and the town and Artesian all in one place, because it actually would require, assuming the town and Artesian and the property owner resolve this situation, we would still need the county to amend their franchise agreement and probably the master water and sewer plan to do that. So we have to get them committed to doing all that. I've talked, like I said, to the commissioners as a group and some of the county commissioners individually. My impression is they are open to doing that, assuming the town and Artesian are on the same page as to what they want to do. I still think it's a good project for the town and the county. I still think that by allowing the town to provide sewer service in that area, at least for the foreseeable future, it creates some users that ultimately, if they want to come back 10 years from now and can run lines down there and connect this property to Artesian system, by that time you might have other users elsewhere that wants to use your capacity, and that would give them some users to give them incentive to run their lines down there that make sense for not only this property but maybe some other properties in that area. But I do know you've had some conversations with them, and there are some financial issues that need to get resolved. So that's my request. Certainly we can present anything else you want to know from now. I think we presented you, I think you're familiar with the property. It already has a commercial building on it. We want it to be zoned C3, it's zoned BI out in the county. I'm not aware of any other issues that would be created that would cause problems or concern for the town, but this is a problem not only for the town but for us. I mean, obviously, you don't want to annex us if you don't know how we're going to get sewer, and we don't want to get caught in that catch-22 where we're in town and Artesian saying we're not going to give you sewer because you're in town type thing. So we need to get that issue resolved.
They may give you sewer, but God knows when. That's the whole problem. They don't know when they can get sewer in that area.
They are not willing at this point, to my knowledge, to make any commitment to when sewer will be available in that area.
No. All right, so we will proceed in continuance until March 2nd. And
Okay, that's
Okay.
fine. I think it's a good idea to have a resolution before we have a hearing on it.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
While I have the floor, if I can, and Mr. Lauer is here, he's in agreement with what we're doing, the representative of the owner. While I have the floor, if I can, I just wanted to mention to all of you, I got a call early this week from Bob Paulsgrove of Columbia Bank and from Don Hicks of the Singerly Fire Company, and I dropped off some paperwork to Steve to give to Lewis. They want to do what is called a TEFRA loan through the Columbia Bank to provide some of the financing for their new building. It's going to require the town to designate Singerly Fire Company as the fire company servicing Elkton. I don't think you have any problems with that. That's what they've been forever. And pass a resolution at a public meeting after advertising, just approving this financing vehicle. Basically, under IRS regulations, the interest then is not taxable, so it allows the bank to give them a better interest rate. It does not obligate the town to do anything. I gave the paperwork to Mr. George, and hopefully he can review it, and then, assuming you guys are all right with that, we just need to get something advertised and get on your agenda maybe for the sooner the better, all I can say. They wanted to do it by the end of this month. I told them that probably wasn't realistic, but again, if we could get that on the agenda by March 2nd, that would be great. I think you have some work sessions in the meantime, and if you call me, I'd be more than happy to come over and give you a little bit more details about that. But while I had your attention, it's just something that I just got the paperwork in today and brought it over here this evening. So I'll be talking to you more about that
Very
in the
good.
next couple of weeks. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
You don't have anything now, Louis? Oh.
No, I haven't.
The only thing I had, I'd just like to thank Public Works for another great job they've done with moving the snow around town, and also Commissioner Givens would like me to acknowledge his same that for the job that they have done during the inclement weather, particularly the snow, and in other words, complimenting how well they did again, compared to all the storms we've had, and it looks like we might have a few more, so pass that along, that definitely doing a good job, keep working on it. So basically that's the only thing I have. Mary Jo?
I just wanted, the last meeting actually was Commissioner Givens that asked about the 2012 anniversary celebration and parade. We have started work on it. We first contacted the local marching bands in this area to see if they wanted Saturday or Monday, what would be best for them, and they requested Saturday. It said it's easier to get the children here rather than Memorial Day Monday itself. We're also meeting with the Historical Society to get the actual events that took place and see what type of things we want to do during that time. And as soon as we have that meeting, then we'll be offering to the public, anyone that wants to volunteer to be on this committee. And also, I just wanted to say that it will probably be in tomorrow's paper, the Elkton Citizen of the Year has been chosen, and this year's recipient is very well deserved, Charlie McCoy. And I'm sure you'll be reading about it probably tomorrow. That's all I have.
Okay. Earl, anything?
No.
Commissioner, anything?
Nothing.
Okay. Wes?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners.
Hey, how you doing?
Couple of things. Last week, I was talking about a Memorial Day parade. I've since talked to the JCs, the Junior Chamber of Commerce. They're also willing to take it on for this year. Have a preliminary request, not typed up yet. It will be typed up in any boxes. I'll get it to Michelle so everybody can review it for the next meeting. Went to the town and got the parade and permit required application procedures. So the JCs, there's some in the back, President, past JCs that are willing to help support it. Went to Roger Owens and called the town band and the Blazers and the different VFWs, and everybody else is willing to be on board with it. So we're going to present that to the town at the next meeting. The other thing I was going to ask is that, has there been any tickets or anything passed out for snow and ice removal? Do we know?
No, see if we had anybody.
No. The reason I ask is right next to me is that building that.
I already called about
Yeah.
it right away. We've got several complaints. They were giving him his 48 hours or whatever it was, and I believe Louis, the town, is going to take care of it.
John Smith handling that.
Because in this policy here, it says the police department shall enforce it, just to let you know, and it's been over
Well, we know
48 hours.
That John's much more quick in dealing with that particular property because he's familiar with the owner.
Right.
Well, one thing, we finally did make contact with the gentleman, and if this comes true now, he did say that he was looking at tearing it down, that he would tear it down, but there's, of course, some steps that he's going to have to go through before he does it, but we're just waiting. I don't hold our breath to see if he's going to do what he says, so we're just going to wait and see. I know Gene has been in contact with him, so was calling. I called him today. I don't know if he's returned his call or not, but we'll just keep our fingers crossed that that's what he's going to do and work through this thing with him.
Right, because the condemned site's still up there. I don't know if it really is condemned by the town there.
Well, like I said, he said he would tear it down, so we'll wait and see if he keeps his word.
Walkway.
No, it's on the building.
On the building.
Somebody moved it
I think there were Commissioner Hicks, and there was a couple of different condemns for a building. He was explaining that also.
You know what the public works is going to do with the snow still on Main Street? You know what the timeline is for that? People can't get out of their cars.
They've done North Street now, and they've done.
A couple hundred times, so I'll have to ask him.
Yeah, I was there last Wednesday. I was going to provide them coffee and sandwiches for working late into the night, but they said because of budget constraints, they were stopping at 7. And it hasn't been removed since then. On Main Street.
We'll check it
It's
and
really
find out.
Thank you.
I really think in the future, for especially the business section of Main Street, the problem they have is they can't remove it because the people are parking there in the apartments. If maybe we know we're getting that amount of snow, if a sign could be posted to park in the lot or something, because they really cannot shovel that snow with the cars there.
Right.
It's
I went-
impossible.
That's what they said too. They
Yeah.
actually went to the people and they said they were willing to move them, their cars at night. But then the town told them not to because some of the public works employees said don't worry about it because they had to stop in 30 minutes or whatever. So they were willing to move their cars, but they had to stop, where if it went off through the night, we would have had it done.
That's not, I mentioned something to you before, it's no emergency routes, would that tie into that, or would?
I don't know, I'll check on Main Street, because that was state route, so it's not in our codes to mark it as all state routes or no emergency routes, but when that converted over to the town, it wasn't added to the streets. There's no emergency, but we can put, I think, Mr. Jablonski got the best idea, because in some communities I'm very familiar with, the police actually post no parking. You have the authority to do that. And when you have a big snowstorm, and then any cars that park in violation of that notice, once it's posted, can be towed. We literally need to do that because they can't shovel the amount of snow, so they have to use heavy equipment, and it's too inefficient to try to get every little spot unless you just go through it.
It works good for the car show when you post them for that.
Right,
Well,
that's
people
what I'm
listen
saying,
to
they
it.
just, they see the signs, they go up
They
and,
adhere to it.
right.
No, we'll try it. Okay. Ron?
I'm not that young, I have to sit down.
All right.
I've been here in the past under different circumstances, and they were joyful. And I'm a little nervous, but
All right.
I'm not much of a speaker when it comes to talking to people that I think properly talk to. I've volunteered to become an advocate for the Eastgate Family and Fun Center roller rink.
Speak into the
Personally-
mic, please.
I'm sorry.
Pull the mic up.
My wife says I never.
Pull it up to you.
People say I never
Pull it to
talk
you.
loud enough. What do you want me to do?
Just pull it up to you a little bit.
Pull it up to me.
It moves.
Is that good enough?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I get accused of not talking loud all the time, except my wife, she said I did. But anyhow, the project that Delnita Allo has apparently compelled to do this, I guess she came here
Yes.
for a presentation. I read in the papers, obviously, what they said in the matter concerning financial help, and I understand. I'm an ex-businessman, so I do understand about certain things. It's a great idea. I think we would all agree upon that. Not for necessarily that it would be Delnita Allo as herself. It's not about her. It's about what these kids. I have great-grandchildren. Some people say, Ron, you don't look at them. I said, well, you're not on the inside looking out either. And I've said that to say, I've drawn up a petition. I have that I'm at liberty to give you my presentation, and it's already typed out. I did that before I came here, and I'll give you that that you can review. It's not necessary to bring up what's on it, but I'm going to be working hard. I'm going to be working hard for that. I talked to Mrs. Allo just yesterday, and I personally thought Delnita, they don't have the collateral that would warrant that they could get a